Good morning. It is March 4, Tuesday, coming to you live from Rome, the seat of the papacy. This is One News special coverage, and my name is Gretchen Ho, bringing you Morning Matters, because wherever you are, mornings matter. Let's get to the stories that matter today. Pope Francis suffered 2 episodes of acute respiratory insufficiency. Stay tuned as we provide updates live from the Vatican. New PCO Secretary J. Ruiz faces scrutiny for alleged ties to a company that secured a million peso government contracts. The heat index in the country is expected to reach dangerous levels today. Several local government units already announced the suspension of classes last night. And let's get to know more about our news kapatid, Ces Oreña-Drilon. It is the 18th day of the Pope's battle against double pneumonia, and doctors report that they had to place the pontiff back on a mechanical ventilator just to allow him to breathe. Now, this appears to be a reversal of yesterday's improvements in the Pope's health when doctors removed him from the non-invasive ventilator. In a late-night Monday bulletin in Rome, the Vatican said that the Pope suffered acute respiratory failure twice yesterday morning. Acute respiratory failure is a serious condition where a patient's lungs are unable to get enough oxygen to the bloodstream. Filipino doctor Dex Macalintal helps us further understand Pope Francis' condition.
Acute respiratory failure kasi, nangyayari yan kapag hindi nagagawa ng lungs natin yung kanyang trabaho, which is to release enough oxygen into the blood. So, hindi nagkakaroon ng tamang gas exchange. At ito ay dulot maaari, gawa nga po noong pagkakaroon ng mucus, pagkakaroon ng pagbabara doon sa daanan ng hangin.
Doctors in the Vatican say this is due to the heavy buildup of mucus in his bronchial tubes, possibly as a result of pneumonia. The cause of the 2 attacks today was the reaction of the bronchi in an effort to eliminate the bacteria. Doctors have had to conduct a bronchoscopy on the pontiff twice. Now, this procedure involves inserting a lit tube with a camera inside the Pope's air passageway to inspect his lungs. Doctors then had to remove what they called large secretions from the pontiff's lungs.
Hirap to kasi isipin mo, magpapasok ka pa rin ng tubo para matanggal yung mga aspirates. Kasi kapag hindi tinanggal yun, pwede siya na bumara. Yun nga yung nagkukos ng bronchospasm, yun yung nagkukos ng acute respiratory failure. So kung hindi matatanggal yun, problema siya. So mahirap yung pinagdadaanan. Kung ako yung Santo Papa, wala ako sa kalagayan na ngayon, pero mahirap, masakit, no? Yung mararamdaman, very very uncomfortable.
After the entire procedure, the Pope was placed back on a non-invasive mechanical ventilator to help him breathe. The Vatican says that the Pope's situation remains complex and further crises are possible. A recent survey shows that majority of voters will vote for bets who advocate agriculture development and food security. The survey also showed that 3 of the top 10 concerns of Filipinos have something to do with gut issues like poverty and hunger and controlling prices of basic goods. In an interview with The Big Story, Agriculture Chief Francisco Tiu Laurel assured Filipinos that we are food secure.
The main reason for declaring the food emergency natin, especially on rice, because yung presyo ay extraordinary, number 1. Number 2 is punong-puno rin ang mga warehouses ng NFA ng bigas, and we have to move this out as soon as possible kasi para makabili tayo ng mga bagong stocks sa mga aanihin ng ating mga farmers ngayong harvest season.
Meanwhile, the Supreme Court confirmed that former OVP spokesperson Michael Poa has joined Vice President Sara Duterte's legal team in her petition against her impeachment. On March 3, the Supreme Court's Office of the Spokesperson announced that POA filed his entry of appearance as Duterte's co-counsel. He cited constitutional concerns raised by the petition as his reason for joining. Duterte is challenging the constitutionality of her impeachment and has asked the Supreme Court to block the Senate from proceeding with the case. It can be recalled that POA resigned as Duterte's spokesperson in November 2024 amid scrutiny over her office's confidential funds. In weather, the easterlies affect most parts of the country, and with this, scattered rains are expected over Bicol region, Caraga, Quezon, as well as Marinduque, Romblon, Samar, Leyte, and Davao Oriental. Metro Manila may also experience isolated rains and thunderstorms. Now, despite that, some areas are expected to experience high heat index. Dagupan City, Iba, Subic, Calapan, Cotabato City may register 40 degrees Celsius and higher today. With this, the Teachers Dignity Coalition calls for a unified class suspension scheme. They said the safety of all students and school personnel of the entire Metro Manila must be ensured. Speaking of weather, if it is both rainy and hot in the Philippines, here it is about to become spring, but it does feel a little bit like winter. Don't go away. We'll bring you more stories right after the break. Welcome back. You're still with us here on Morning Matters on One News. PCO Secretary Jay Ruiz is under fire over his alleged connection to a company that bagged government contracts worth millions. The palace insists he is taking steps to clear the issue. Here's the report.
Just days after being appointed as the new Secretary of the Presidential Communications Office, Jay Ruiz is already facing controversy. The latest issue involves his media company securing multi-million peso contracts with the government, which is allegedly a conflict of interest with his current position. However, the palace said the official is already working on the necessary documents to formally withdraw from his business.
Ang batas naman po natin ay allowed po mag-divest ng shares or interest sa anumang kumpanya na pag-aari niya within 60 days from the time na siya ay nag-assume ng position. Pagkakaalam ko ay in the process na po kasi piniprepare niya po yung kanyang mga papers regarding that.
Palace Press Officer Claire Castro also emphasized that Ruiz secured his government projects before assuming office.
Wala naman po tayo nakikitang mali doon dahil kailangan din naman po niyang kumita. So ngayon po na kami po ay na-appoint, kailangan po talaga mag-divest kung ang interest po ay may conflict. So, kailangan po talaga mag-divest.
In a chance interview with the Malacanang Press Corps after PCO's flag-raising ceremony on Monday, Ruiz addressed the spread of intrigue, saying they only cause unnecessary distractions.
Nasa hilip na makatulog. It will take space and time. Iisipin mo ba? Minsan kasi, mga gumagawa ng kung ano-anong kwento na wala namang katotohanan.
This is reportedly one of the reasons why Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin ordered PCO presidential appointees to submit their courtesy resignations.
Walang personalan. Kailangan natin gawin dahil kailangan nga ng pagbabago na hindi dapat kasi nangyayari kasi unang-una maraming leakages. Maraming intriga. Dapat confidential lahat ng orders, lahat ng papeles dito. We treat it as confidential.
Ruiz assured that all PCO officials will undergo evaluation.
The Justice Department is set to review existing cyber libel and other cyber laws. Secretary Boy Remulla said this aims to bolster efforts against the spread of misinformation online. Remulla made the announcement in response to questions about potential legal action against those disseminating false information. He noted that there is no specific timeline for filing cases as each instance requires thorough evaluation. The DOJ chief also defended the review against criticisms of conflict of interest, insisting it does not target specific individuals or groups. Malacanang will investigate reports that the PNP and some local government units received donations from Chinese nationals accused of espionage. Presidential Communications Office Undersecretary Claire Castro said donations must be examined to ensure they were not given with ulterior motive. She also confirmed that Malacanang will look into possible links between top PNP officials and suspected Chinese criminals. A Reuters report said 4 Chinese men linked to the Chinese Communist Party donated cash and vehicles to police and a local government unit. The Manila local government confirmed receiving 10 motorcycles but clarified that the donation process was transparent.
Hindi po yan pababayaan ng Pangulo. Talaga po kapag kabuhugan yan ang balita at nakarating sa atin yan, kailangan po talagang imbestigahan yan. Hindi po ito dapat palampasin.
More on world news. Philippine Ambassador to the U.S., Jose Manuel Romualdez, believes the country's ties with the U.S. will remain unaffected under a Trump administration despite foreign policy shifts. Recently, President Donald Trump and Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky had a tense exchange at the Oval Office over the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war. Romualdez said Trump's goal is to establish a peace agreement between the two nations, emphasizing the need to consider both sides and their intentions. The Philippines also hopes for an end to the war as its global impact continues to be felt.
I don't think so. I think what's important for us, again, is that what happened really recently, as I said, in the Oval Office, is really, I think President Trump really wants to have a peace agreement between Russia and Ukraine. And being a deal maker, as Secretary Rubio described it, he sees this opportunity, definitely would like to see all of this resolved at the soonest possible time. It's something that, as I said, will keep many of us awake because it can very well affect our part of the world down the road.
When we return, we spoke with our newest kapatid here on One News, and she is none other than Ces Oreña-Drilon. Let's have more of that when Morning Matters returns. We are honored to have today on Morning Matters our newest kapatid, one of the top journalists in the country, my former boss. She is now with us. And I'm honored to have her replace me on the big story. But today, she will be on Morning Matters first. We have Ces Oreña-Drilon. Welcome to the Kapatid Network.
And you were the first one to welcome me.
I know. What an honor.
Thank you.
to have
It is
you.
mine. It is mine also.
Okay, so my first question is,
Okay.
what made you come back?
Ah.
Did you miss the news?
Actually, no. Do you know that I have tuned off from... I see naman updates now and then, but I'm not really like before. You live, breathe the news. But I thought I could, in the past as a reporter, parang wala kang plano sa buhay because if you plan something, all these plans will be upset because something might happen. And
Like the daily grind.
Yes.
You never know what's going to
You
come.
never know. An earthquake may happen.
So there's no use planning.
Yes. That was my thinking before. Or parang wala kang intention masyado. Wala. Kung ano yung mangyari, mangyayari. But I thought that because, I'm in my third act. To quote Jane Fonda, may intention ako. I want to be able to use this platform for an advocacy. Aside from, of course, doing the news and doing interviews, my advocacy is sustainability. So I want to have content around that advocacy.
Okay, before we go to that
I know, but
part.
that's really what you said. That's what your question was, why did I join? So meron akong ulterior motive.
Good naman.
I will admit
good naman.
it.
But you also said in your Facebook post that this was a huge commitment.
It is.
And you're back on the daily grind. You
Yeah.
could have chosen to take on a weekly show
Yeah.
or a current affairs show
Yeah.
or a segment, but you took on the daily news grind.
Yeah.
So
Why?
is there unfinished business there?
You know, let's rewind to my last daily show was Bandila, which was in 2017. It was my choice to leave. And I guess I felt a little like I was reneging on my duty somehow. In fact, when Pat Evangelista published her book, she had something written there. Like something like, silence is, or if you don't do anything, you kind of...
Allow the oppressor
Yes.
to continue on.
Yes. Thank you for finishing my sentence.
So
I
did you
feel a
fe-
little guilt. Not,
Why? What made you leave Bandila?
I could not take introducing a president swearing on air. I felt it was normal. And because it's a straight newscast, I couldn't really make a face or say something. It's not right.
Teka, 2017, so meaning 2 years mo lang natiis.
Oo.
Grabe.
At saka I wanted to leave by comfort zone, actually.
Okay.
I wanted to have experience in digital. So I moved to digital.
But that was exactly
yeah.
the point where things were turning to that space.
Yes. And ABS-CBN, our old network, was scrambling to keep up, at that time. Because we were all focused on terrestrial then. Content was there. We were all silos doing our own thing, So I thought I wanted to try it out on digital.
But are you ready now to open your mind again to the world of news? I mean,
Well, I guess, yeah.
There
Actually,
is the Duterte versus the Marcoses. We have the impeachment trial. For a journalist, it's actually
there's so much happening. It's exciting.
we have a lot of stories to tell. Is
Yes.
that also what made you come back?
I think it's not so much about the story. I think, yun na nga, I want to be able to share my knowledge, my experience, I guess. Put some perspective. I'm not, ayoko namang magbuhat ng
Doon sa
bangko. Bahala na.
Doon sa big
matignan.
story. Doon sa big story.
Oo.
Kasi nga nakaka-excite dahil yung format ng big story, I came from there.
Yes. Diba?
There's a lot of banter.
Yeah.
There's a lot of,
sharing of
putting your thoughts in there.
Yes.
Like kung ano man yung inside information na nakuha ninyo. That space provides for the opportunity.
Yeah.
So
it's exciting.
Oo. Anong klaseng Ces Oreña-Drilon ang makikita namin sa Act 3.0?
4 na ata.
Ay, 4 na.
Hindi. Nang The Big Story. Yung akin ay Act 3. Okay. I don't know. It's just, let's see.
Kasi in ABS-CBN, most of the news that you did was straight news, right? Parang hindi ka talagang
I did,
allowed, were you allowed to weigh in on issues, like give your take?
Not so much.
Not so much.
And I veered away from that, actually. Like, I didn't do radio where you really reveal your
On purpose.
position.
On purpose.
Yes. I did radio briefly. But it's also how the way you ask the questions. It kind of reveals your...
Biases.
Yeah.
Pero sa ngayon, sa mundo ngayon, parang
Yeah.
hindi na rin, there's no use pretending that you don't have biases. Gusto rin ng audience na malaman you being authentic or truthful to where you're coming from.
No, I agree.
No?
I agree.
And I guess...
As long as it's still based on the truth, based on what you know is closest
Siguro
to the
gusto kong
truth.
tanungin, mga away ka ba?
Hindi naman! Uy, baka walang mag-guest. Pambira ka.
Hindi, excited kami.
Hindi mga away. It's just that parang don't let them get off easily.
Okay.
If you know they're obfuscating or
Yes.
avoiding, you try to not pin them down, but really reveal the truth or their position, di ba? Yun lang naman, di naman mga away. Parang ano lang.
Well, still on journalism, another thing I wanted to ask is how far are you willing to take this third act? What if our boss, Patrick Paes, our news chief, sends you out to do a story?
Basta naman
Game
it's
pa rin.
interesting.
Talaga?
Oo.
So we might see you again.
Talaga
on field.
ba? Kung may budget.
Yun ang tanong. Ang ganda. Ang galing.
No, I meant budget with
Bago
clue.
pa lang kayo, pero ang bilis nyo.
I really actually wanna go
Oo,
out.
talaga.
Yeah, but not every day naman like
Mas
before.
gusto niyo ba sa labas, sa
Really?
field?
Yes.
Talaga?
Oo.
Like,
At saka
what
mas
were the-
maganda ako sa labas kesa sa studio. Pag natural light ako.
Siyempre, kilala namin kayo bilang isa sa pinakamatatapang na journo sa industriya. What were some of the most memorable coverages?
Alam mo, I believe, hindi naman, ang matapang, hindi naman nasusukat yan yung sasabak ka ba sa delikado.
gera,
O, correct. Yung pwede rin ang tapang naman ay kaya mo bang questionin ang isang may malaking katungkulan? Kaya mo bang, yeah, can you challenge people in authority? And it's really our job, di ba, as a fourth estate na bantayan sila para sa taong bayan.
Pero ma'am says,
Kailangan yun matapang ka kasi pagka merong, di ba, may mga katungkulan, ang tendency, you're very respectful. I mean, you can still be respectful, but put them,
in their place?
not put them in their place, but
Put
rather...
them on the spot?
Yes.
But after what happened to us at ABS-CBN,
Exactly. That, I think, is the challenge before media now. Medyo may takot. Di ba? May prior restraint na.
kasi alam mo na
Delikado.
maaaring mangyari ito.
Oo.
But there are also so many other mediums now that journals can come out with
true
their
naman.
stories.
Yeah,
Like,
true.
for example, Christian Esguerra
Yeah.
is on YouTube, very,
Yeah.
very active. Kayo
Yeah.
rin, nasa TikTok kayo at one point, but it was mostly business, I think, that you were doing.
No, I wasn't doing much. Ang hirap eh. Ang hirap.
Ang dami na ngayon, ano?
dami na.
What do you think of Philippine journalism now? I mean, is it tamer?
Yeah.
Or is it a little bit more creative?
Maybe tamer.
Talaga? Bakit?
Ang daming pwedeng gawing storya pero hindi ginagawa.
Ano yung mga story na parang, gusto ko gawin yan? Sayang, walang gumawa.
Recently, kunyari, nakita ko, di ba nagde-deport ng maraming Chinese na involved sa Pogo? Ba't wala pang, meron na ba? Nag-try?
Na,
Sumakay sa aeroplano, tignan, ano bang...
itsura ng mga dinideport? Ano yung kwento nila? Baka kasi hindi marunong mag-Chinese.
Kahit, hindi naman. It's just, I don't know, kumuha ka ng
Hindi,
interpreter,
tama,
di ba?
tama yun.
Or parang
Oo,
yung...
ano. You have a point there.
A lot of this Pogo business and would have been interesting to follow. A lot of the stories there. And although, yeah, it's difficult, but, you know. But kaya. If
These
you
are
were
actually,
really persistent, di ba?
Even after everything you've gone
And-
through, I mean, you've been tough and courageous with your stories, but there have been several that has also gotten you in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, you run
what-
afoul of
Oh.
not just, Muslim extremists, but people in power who hold power.
And after everything you've gone through, you still will recommend the young journals of today to go after those stories.
Yeah, that's your job if you want to really be
Tama
a
naman.
journalist, di ba?
Oo.
Parang ano
But
ba yung
where
mga
do you draw the
hindi-
line? I mean, it
Oh,
can't
yun
be
na nga.
all about hanging
It can't
your
be
neck.
naman, that's I think also the lesson learned from my experience in 2008. No story is worth dying for also. I mean, you don't put your life on the line.
So, kailan niyo po sasabihin na, ay, hanggang dito lang ako?
Eh, sinabi ko na yun eh. Di ba? I retired.
That was you drawing the line there.
I also, because I put my family through so much, and I wanted to also, I didn't want to put them through that again. Kasi I could have gone back. I did go back to Sulu, but I could have gone back more. But I also I didn't want them to undergo that experience again.
So
Na not knowing whether
kaya niyong
anong
bumalik
nangyari.
doon? Kaya niyong
Oo
bumalik
naman.
talaga? Hindi kayo natatakot? I mean, like, hindi ba nagsasurface
Eh
ulit
ngayon,
yung mga feelings of...
it's quite peaceful from
Yes.
what you've gone there.
I've gone there.
Yeah.
Malayo-malayo na.
Oo.
Basilan din.
Oo.
And I went with Ed Lingao. And, I mean, like...
It's such a pity
we put-
kasi it's a beautiful place. Diba? It's a beautiful part of our country.
If I invited you to Sulu, would you come
Oh
with
yeah,
me?
let's go. Magpasama tayo kay Jam Alindogan because she has Sinagtala. She has she's doing a lot for women there. Yeah. So,
Iba na ang mukha.
oo, iba na. Kaya lang nga, syempre, parang baka lagyan ng kahulugan pag akong pumunta doon, di ba? Parang ano ba to, tempting fate or di ba? Nang aasar. But I really want to go just to say na hindi ako na-traumatized, I'm not angry at them, I really want to reach out also.
Your captors, I believe, surrendered in 2022. Have you met them?
No, they didn't
No.
surrender.
They didn't surrender.
No.
Nahuli sila.
Actually, there were a couple. There was one who was recently captured. Yeah. Not surrender. No one surrendered.
Napatawad niya.
And then, naintindihan ko rin naman yung ginagawa nila eh. Kasi when you talk to them, you understand that all these centuries of oppression, it's carried from generation to generation, the feeling of that this is your land, and then, you're mired in poverty, etc. To the point na parang ayaw mo parang it was just the most natural thing to do to get a gun and, rebel. Parang gano'n. Sabi ko, magtanim na lang kayo ng kape. Ang sarap ng kape. Ganon talaga. It was one of the best things during
Ang sarap ng kape sa
kape,
Sulu.
di ba? O kaya,
Ang sarap din ng prutas.
exactly. Ba't di nyo na lang ipaglaban yung fishing rights ninyo? I mean, do livelihood instead of fighting the government.
It could have been unimaginable then, but I mean now seeing peace
Yeah.
in that area.
Yeah.
Para sa akin kasi first timer ako doon eh. So iba yung appreciation nyo.
Pero matagal na ako nagko-cover doon since meron pa akong picture na bata pa si Isabel. Ganun eh. 1987, 1986, yeah.
Meron ba kayong storyang niregret nyo? I mean, sana hindi ko to nilabas. Sana hindi ko to ginawa. Sana hindi ko to sinuyod. Meron ba kayong storyang nasunog kayo? Yung mga ganyan.
Ay, meron.
Huwag nasabihin.
Alam mo kasi ang ano ko, I guess sometimes it's not also good. I'm really very persistent. And there was supposed to be this person who would give information on someone who was wanted. But I was being used pala by intelligence to show na, oh, look at this journalist. She's after, parang ginamit ako na to prove to their bosses na they're on the tail of this person. But even, kasi antay ako kahit parang 24 oras ng nag-aantay. Sinagaan ko. But yeah, in the end, nasunog ako. Yeah, you learn from your mistakes. Di ka naman laging tama.
What do you hope to do in this ecosystem of the Kapatid Network? I mean, it's not just your advocacy for sustainability, but you've been colleagues with Sir Patrick, with Ed,
I don't know
with
how Patrick
Julius.
convinced me. Because
Ano yung mga memories niyo dati?
Si Patrick.
Sa kayo nagkasama? At, si Patrick ay ang aming news chief dito sa TV5.
Si Patrick kasi, I really admire the way he writes and angles stories. Kilala ko na yan, wala pa siya sa TV. He was still a print reporter for the Manila Chronicle, which was the newspaper when, I was starting as a journalist. So, lagi kong binabasa kung paano niya sinusulat yung same coverage. Nag-cover kami ng Senate. Yeah. So, minsan, magkaiba ng angulo. So, parang mas maganda yung kay Patrick. Kino-compare ko lagi how my peers would write our same coverage. So, I'll learn.
So, hindi kayo nagkasama nung correspondence siya, tapos kayo ay nasa ABS-CBN noon?
Pero hindi ako regular sa correspondence. I would do
From time
stories
to time.
from
How
time
about
to
Ed?
time.
Nakasama mo si Ed?
Minsan din. Oo.
Si Julius Babaw,
Si
syempre sa
Julius,
Bandila.
oo naman. Parang reunion nga rin
Kaya
dito
nga.
And also, a lot of people behind the scenes, di ba? Galing ABS.
Why TV5? I mean, you have all the opportunities to enter any network and I'm sure they'd be glad to receive you.
One, it's 20 minutes away from my place.
Praktikalan na tayo dito.
Oo, talaga. Alam mo, malaking commitment ang daily. Ikaw, bata ka pa. My gosh. Hello. Senior na ako.
Where were you when you were my age?
Wait.
I'm 34.
You announce your age.
It's fine.
I started anchoring when I was 30. It was like a big break for me because I was a reporter pa lang. I became business news anchor of The World Tonight with Angelo Castro and Lauren Legarda. Diane was the sports anchor. And then I had a show called Usapang Business. So yun, maybe when I was 34. Ikaw maagang mga break sa'yo. Dati, you got, I won't say easy, but I think you were groomed by our old network.
No, I'm very fortunate.
Yeah.
Including to have you as a former boss.
Yeah.
Right now, we see other broadcasters. They are visible in many other
Yes.
platforms. It's
Yes.
not just one.
Yes.
Do you think that's the way to go? I mean,
I think it's good.
ganun na ba? Parang, should you keep yourself in one network? What is your perspective on that? On the way things have changed? On how you get your stories across, your
It's
message
good for you as a
across?
talent.
Oo.
Right? So, it's good.
You can spread your wings.
Yeah.
Here and there.
Yeah.
Where were you after ABS-CBN shut down?
That exact time. Well, and then
No,
the
I mean after,
pandemic.
what did you
what
do?
did I do? I discovered so many things about myself. I guess I had the time, so I was able to garden. I have a little farm, and then I'm a formulator. I'm actually taking an online course now to be for natural skincare.
Oh!
Yeah. Because I want to have more cred. I want to have credibility. Hindi lang porke ginawa ko tong produktong to at sinasabi kong magaling siya. Parang iba rin yung nag-aaral ka, di ba?
So iba ito, di
It's
ba
an
gumagawa
online
ka ng
course.
sage? I mean,
Yes, iba pa to sa mga...
Yung sage na,
Yeah, this one I want to
usok.
make formulations talaga for the skin, for still using natural, still using plants, and, nature.
lumalabas na yung pagkakikay ninyo, ha?
Syempre, parte naman yun. Syempre, di ba?
Oo, but you also have a stone house.
Rammed
Mud-
earth.
rammed earth.
Rammed earth.
Oo.
Yeah. Kasi nga, I want to... The pandemic opened my eyes to the damage that we are doing to the planet. Because during the pandemic, I never saw the skies bluer from my condo. Ngayon, the sky is always gray, it's always so polluted. Because we stopped going out, we stopped, polluting the environment because we were stuck at home. So, I thought I would like to reduce my carbon footprint. Wala pa akong EV, wala pa akong electric vehicle, pero eventually yun ang gusto ko para but also powered by maybe solar. Anyways, yung rammed earth kasi you only use 10% cement. The rest is soil and sand as a mixture.
Paano kung binagyo?
Ang tigas niya.
Talaga?
Oh, I mean, it's like so,
Has it been tested?
it's parts of the Great Wall of China.
Talaga?
Yes. Which is when was not built centuries.
Ganon, yun ang composition ng Great Wall of China.
Yes. Some parts. And also, it's an ancient way of building actually.
What's your vision for your farm? I asked that because
Yeah,
I also
know.
have my own.
I know.
And I'm like, you have to visualize where you want this to
Yes.
go or else gagastos ka dito, gagastos ka dyan.
Oo.
Walang pinuntahan.
Oo.
So what is your vision for
It
your
has changed
plot
many
plan?
times. Pag nag-pivot ako ng pivot, dati gusto ko maging producer ng herbs. Titinda ako sa mga restaurants. But I think that's hard. You need a lot of land and also
To keep it going.
Yeah.
Oo,
Yeah,
dapat
yeah.
may crop rotation.
At saka, kailangan may value added. Tiga-bigay lang ba ako tiga-benta lang ba ako ng raw material? So that's why I want to build a garden of herbs and other plants that I can use in my formulas, in my, what I'll make. Eventually, I'll have to buy, of course, but at least I have a garden, parang it's a wellness and cosmetic garden.
Na ilalagay mo dun sa sa skincare
Yes,
products mo.
oo. Correct.
Are you hoping to invite the public into your private space to be able to
Pag
experience a
maganda
little bit
na,
of that
pwede
wellness?
naman. Pag maganda.
Kasi si Chari Villa, na ating kaibigan
gagawin
din,
gagawin
meron
na
siyang
niya.
pa-retreat center
Oo
doon. Oo.
Yeah.
Sa inyo,
Maybe, we'll see. Patapusin muna natin yung bahay, Ang tagal
Oo.
kasi nga,
Mahal.
Hindi. At saka it's very experimental. For instance, I'm using engineered bamboo for my beams, for the ceiling, and for the posts, instead of steel. So, it took a bit of time to make because yung beams ko sa bahay are curved. Can you imagine making that curved bamboo?
Oo nga.
Oo.
so you have to test it first and its durability?
No. It
No.
already
You're
has been
confident already?
computed naman by a structural engineer. It took some time for rhizome, which is producing that bamboo, to make.
I think your house...
Parang they compress it kasi. It's like,
Mahal ba yan? Yang
Siguro kasi
kinukwento
bago
mo.
pa lang. Pero
Kasi parang mahal maging sustainable.
Yeah. Sa umpisa. Kasi syempre hindi pa,
Parang solar power lang.
Oh,
Kailangan mo
di ba
gumastos
ngayon
ng
naging mura
malaki-laki.
na. Pero it became
Pero
cheaper.
mahal pa rin yung battery.
Oo, pero it's going down. The price is going down. If you're, I guess, if you're pioneering or medyo mahal pa sa umpisa. Sa umpisa. It's like, the structures of the Cebu Airport and the Clark Airport, yung wood na ginagamit nila. You've seen that,
Yes.
diba? Yung mga beams. They
Ganon
are
din.
doing that with bamboo now. Which is lighter. I think 3 times lighter than steel, but twice stronger. Imagine. It's a very sustainable material to build with. So parang yun ang gusto kong, I guess you'd reach that part of your, matagal ka pa. In your life, na gusto mo nang ambag ka sa lipunan. Parang yun ang gusto kong gawin.
Well, you are a storyteller and you've done newscasts in the mainstream channel. How would you convince Filipinos of sustainability? I mean, paano mo maikakwento ang konseptong sustainability sa masang Pilipino?
Kasi ang sustainability very abstract at saka
Oo.
parang,
Parang
nakakain
mahal.
ba yan?
Mga ganun.
Oo, parang, anong dulot niyan sa buhay ko?
Naisip nyo ba yun? Kung paano nyo
hindi yun, makikita mo na.
breakdown?
I think, naman yan, may mga cities and municipalities that already are banning plastic, di ba? di ba, when you go to the supermarket, gusto nila naka-eco bag ka or ilalagay mo sa kahon. So, I think that already is a start. People may awareness na. But if each of us does something in our daily life that will reduce the harm we are doing to the planet, and collectively, we can make an impact. I think.
Hindi niyo po naisip na tumakbo for government? I mean, like all the other things, because I mean, I get that question a lot. But I'm sure you've gotten it a lot too.
I actually was tempted.
Talaga.
Tempted to the temptation siguro was, the most I did was I approached, well, my name was included in a survey. And parang meron naman chance. But I think my role is here. And also doing my sustainability advocacy outside government.
Can you take us through that process of discernment
why?
that led you to say that my role is here? At teka, ano yun?
Tsaka
Yung
parang
survey na yun, senatorial ba yun?
Oo.
Senatorial yun. Parang bagay naman, Senator Ces Drilon. Senator Drilon. Ay, Drilon, may meron na palang iba.
Parang oo nga. Hindi, kaya nga eh. Di ba, nag-retire na si Frank. Anyway, nasa na?
Bakit hindi?
Bakit hindi?
Bakit hindi?
Kasi gusto kong mas tahimik na buhay. Parang ang gulo eh. Di ba?
Tapos bumalik po kayo sa mundo ng pagbabalita.
Hindi naman kasing gulo.
Sabagay, tama naman.
Di ba? Try to make sense na lang of the world of politics, of what politicians are telling us. I guess it's better than being the actual politician. It's hard when you're, I don't know, I think it will be the difficulty siguro, okay, if you're, the decision was, I might be thrust into positions where, you know, you would have to compromise and your principles.
And you say, sabi nga nila, di ba, ang public service is, or politics is the act of compromising, because it's not just your point of view, but also to consider the other. But it's not just.
You'll have to bend.
It's not just
you'll
about
have
opinions.
to maybe bend some of your
what are
beliefs.
some of your non-negotiables? I mean, kahit dito sa mundo natin
Meron din.
Marami. I mean, decision points.
Hindi ka naman maglalabas ng hindi katotohanan.
Paano kung may lumapit po sa inyo na sinabing mag-endorse kayo nitong politiko?
Hindi. I've never endorsed them. I did. But I was no longer active. You know. Now that I'm with One News.
Babalik na.
Oo, syempre.
Babalik na.
Naalala ko.
Hindi nawawala yun sa ating mundo. Kasi,
Na ano?
Yun nga. Kasi kahit ako, na marami nang nag-alok sa akin.
So would you?
I wouldn't, because I'm here.
Yeah, but
that's clear
maybe
to
when
me.
you're a little older, you might.
Because?
You've been there, done that. Di ba? You might want to explore other avenues. And I do know you have your advocacies also. Di ba?
The politics is not for me.
Really? You know na? For sure, huwag ka magsalita ng
Hindi
ng
ko rin
tapos.
kaya.
Huwag ka mag-period.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
puntahan natin itong question na ayaw nyo kanina.
Ano?
Anong legacy?
Parang naman.
Sige, ganito na lang. Kasi sabi nyo, gusto nyo magturo, gusto nyo mag-give back. Anong gusto nyong ituro sa mga katulad ko, sa mga younger journalists out there?
I think one is we have to be more conscious about the way we're living our life na kunyari, even when we buy things, kailangan mo ba talaga yan? Parang, alam ko, it's hard kasi ako, oh my God, I collect things. So, I have to really consciously be more conscious about how I live. Yeah.
So yun ang gusto niyo ituro sa mga colleagues?
Alam mo, maybe some will say dito sa Pilipinas, we're one of the most vulnerable to the climate crisis, but the climate crisis, the most damage that's being done to the earth is really from the Western world, di ba? Tayo lang yung nagsasuffer. Pero kung tutuusin, yung contribution natin siguro sa carbon emissions is so small compared to China, the US, and other countries. But then, it doesn't mean that hindi tayo, dahil mahirap lang tayo or what, hindi tayo magigising sa katotohanan, you know, that we have to do something.
So you're living a very simple life.
I'm trying, not yet.
Kasi
I'm
yung
not
mga
yet
super
there.
simple ay nag-uulit-ulit ng dami.
Oo,
Meron na lang. May ganun kayo.
Dati, parang hindi pwedeng wala kang bago.
Sa atin
Parang-
kasi kailangan, I mean, we're seen on TV
Yeah,
every day,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
But
But you
minsan
can repeat.
nagigilty rin ako kasi pag sinuot mo na to, eh, ilang beses mo lang pwedeng suotin, kailangan meron ka na namang bago.
Oo. Kaya may sponsors, di ba?
Okay. You are a Lola now.
Yes.
Yes, you are a Lola.
Yeah.
Okay, we
I
know
have
so much.
I have two.
We know so much about you, the warrior journalist, but this side of you, what have you come to discover about being a Lola, being a mom?
I guess you have the opportunity to make up for sense of omission nung mami ako kasi ang dami kong sinacrifice for my kids. So now's an opportunity to make up. And I'm so blessed because dalawang babae. I've always longed for girls. I have 4 boys, although my youngest is a they. Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Well, non-binary.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now you have time with your apos.
Well, one kasi doesn't live here, so hindi ko pa siya
Hindi
nami-meet.
pa.
Yeah. Si Nora. Nora ang name.
But I'm sure they're happy
And
to have
Sophia.
Lola Ces with them. Just
I
like
hope,
how
I
we
hope.
are happy to have you again in the world of news. And that is it for today's episode of Morning Matters. My name is Gretchen Ho, reporting you live from Rome. We are One News, all places, all sides, all the time.